prepare a pillowcase for hooping multiple designs, print out a copy of each design that you're going to be sewing on the pillowcase. You can print it from the PDF that's attached into the file, or you can print it directly from your embroidery software by opening up the design, going to File, then to Print. And it will print out the design, and it will have your center marks. So that we can see the center marks better, I'm going to darken them in with this fine tip pen. I want to make sure I'm very precise. That is why I use a fine tip. Now that I have my images printed out and my center lines darkened, I'm going to take and darken in the edges of where I want the outside designs to meet up. Now take your ruler or any other kind of straight edge, put it right on the center, and tape it down. I'm taping it right to the desk so that I know it's not going to move. Now line up where you want your outside design to go, and this is where this comes in handy. To make sure that I'm completely straight, I'm going to just take the CD case, butt it up against my ruler, bring it down, and then I can adjust it so that I know I'm perfectly straight. Now I'm taping the piece down to attach it to the center part. Now do the same thing with the other side. This is a standard size pillowcase. I'm just going to eyeball the paper onto the pillowcase, but if you would like to be a little more precise, you can measure. I'm going to tape this to the pillowcase so I can make sure it doesn't move at all while I'm putting in my center marks. I'm going to use a pencil to put the marks on my pillowcase, but you're free to use whatever works best for you. Now the side-to-side marks are a little bit more difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully untape this so that I can kind of fold it over enough to put my ruler across. Now to do the sides for this part, I just folded this over, making sure that my center lines are straight. And then that will give me the space on the side to put those center marks. Now that I have all my marks onto the pillowcase, I can go ahead and take this off. I'm going to extend the marks so I will have my center point. Now I have my pillowcase completely marked. I have all of my 3 center lines for each design. Take a look, you'll notice that the ones for the outsides are lower than the one for the bell. This is where people usually mess up when they're doing multiple designs, because they will automatically center it the same as the middle design, but that isn't always so. Now it's time to do the hooping. Now the hooping can be the tricky part, and it depends on how your machines sew. Since this is oblong design, for a lot of the formats I had to turn it so that it's sideways. Now keep this in mind when you hoop. Put your hoop onto your fabric, which direction the design is actually going to sew. So some of you will need to hoop it where the top of the hoop goes towards up to the side. Now if your hoop came with the clear plastic template, you want to get that out now. If it didn't come with a template, I've made my own for my hoop by tracing around the inside of the hoop. And I traced it on one of these flexible mats that I bought at Walmart. You get 3 at Walmart for like, you know, $3. And I have made templates for every one of my hoops. If you're in a crunch and you don't have anything, you can also take a piece of heavy cutaway stabilizer and create your own. It's much easier to have one that's plastic, a heavy plastic, for getting it into the frame correctly. I'm going to tape this down, matching all my center marks. There, I have it hooped, and you can see all my center side marks line up with my center marks on my hoop. To take this out of the hoop without disturbing the fabric, just take your pair of scissors and just lightly run it over the masking tape on the sides, and it will pop right out. Since precision is going to be very important when piecing a large design together, I'm just going to run a little bit of masking tape holding the stabilizer and fabric to the frame. This will prevent the fabric from pulling as it's being sewn. I do the same thing to the front. Now it's a good time to double check that your hooping is correct so you don't end up with your design upside down or to the side. My machine feeds this way, straight in. So I'm just going to make a little mark, which is the top, onto the masking tape. I have it finished, the center part finished, and I actually sewed it right side up. So next is to put the side pieces on. Once you get the center design done, you just hoop the left and the right sides the exact same way. We have it all finished, and you can see the registration is absolutely perfect. Next video, I'm going to show you how to add the lace.